Ojy Okpe is not here with stories trending around the world. Hello, G.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you?
You're good, right?
I'm perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, Tundun. How are you? I love your jacket.
Thank you so much.
You look lovely. Thank you. Good morning, Rufai. How are you?
Pepirito, pepper them, scotch
this guy's always making me dance.
Pepper them, scotch bonnets, pepper them.
Rufai, you're a breath of fresh air. Good morning. Can you tell your...
What did Dr. Abati say?
You don't want to know.
What did he say?
I guarantee you don't want to know. Well, good morning, Rufai, and good morning to you, viewers. We begin what's trending following the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu's announcement that he's tested positive for COVID-19. The governor confirmed his status via Twitter on Tuesday, where he announced that he was asymptomatic and had been self-isolating. In a video attached to the tweet, Governor Akeredolu said he took the COVID-19 test after being treated for malaria. Let's take a listen.
I had malaria a few days ago and was treated. I did get over it. And as at the time, we had a party neck, and my colleagues called on me. I spoke with one of them who felt that, look, malaria should not be just treated lightly, but that I should go ahead and have a test for COVID-19. The result came out today, 30th June 2020. And I tested positive, but I am asymptomatic. I'm not feeling sick, neither am I feeling hard in any way. But my doctors have decided that I should take the normal treatments and self-isolate.
Let's take some reaction. One user posted the video we shared with you viewers yesterday, where the governor was seen flouting government protocols on COVID-19 with the caption, again, "Our elected officials are the reason we are struggling to control COVID-19. Another example, despite at least 4 of his colleagues testing positive and a former colleague dying, Rotimi Akeredolu disregards government protocol. Hashtag Ondo Decides 2020. Let's play that video again. All right, can we say we're surprised? I am not sympathetic at all with this whole situation with the governor. I am sorry. It's just completely for the first time, right?
Well, I am, because he got COVID-19, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, quite frankly. I wish him a speedy recovery and a total recovery. And the only silver lining for him is that he's asymptomatic. When you read what people go through, when you read their accounts, it's a horrible disease. And we must all be reminded, even though I feel some sympathy for what he's going through, this is completely irresponsible behavior.
Completely.
I was horrified by this video yesterday. I remain horrified watching it today. You cannot, once again, for the cheap seats at the back, we've said this ad nauseum. If you have to sneeze, sneeze in a tissue or in the crook of your elbow, not in your hand, and then you now have that hand being held aloft by somebody. Nobody's wearing a face mask. There's no social distancing. This whole situation here is a recipe for disaster. Everybody in this video, I hope by now, is being isolated somewhere and getting tested.
And this is the reason I said that I was not sympathetic. First of all, also, I think that he has directed members of his cabinet to all go for COVID-19 tests. Do we know how sensitive this virus is? I mean, people contract this virus without even knowing, but this is completely irresponsible. You know what's going on with the virus. You could touch anything and contract the
yesterday
virus?
when we took this subject, we made the point that we made the point that COVID-19 is no respecter of persons. It's an egalitarian disease that has no regard for status or position or color or height, whatever. And we were concerned that at this particular event, which is on screen now, where the governor was went to Abuja to submit his form, expression of interest form,
yes,
for a second term in office, that he was surrounded by persons, most of them, we've been told, are members of the Ondo State House of Assembly. And so you have a situation whereby in Ondo State, both the leader of the executive arm and also members of the House of Assembly seem to be nonchalant about the dangers of COVID-19. But we have now seen that the governor, in the video, in the broadcast to the people of Ondo State, has had to learn his lesson. He was not using face mask when he was in Abuja, but in the state broadcast, he was using face mask. That's a question of learning your lesson the very hard way. But as human beings who are also vulnerable and who can also make mistakes, I think the correct thing is to sympathize with him and to wish him, quick recovery. And for all the persons involved, the ones that followed him to Abuja, the members of the cabinet that have had contact with him, and the two traditional rulers. There's a picture in circulation, two traditional rulers, in fact, holding his hands, raising his hands up. Those traditional rulers also should not say that they are monarchs. They should also go into self-isolation because, as we keep saying, this COVID-19 is a serious matter, and others should learn from this. The fact that you are governor or you are chief executive does not mean that you are immune from COVID-19.
All right, very well said, Dr. Bate. Now I sympathize with him. Rufai?
Arakunrin. At first, when the governor, His Excellency Arakunrin Akeredolu of Ondo State, did say he was asymptomatic, have they removed sneezing as part of the symptoms of COVID?
I think they just...
No, he said he had malaria.
No, when he said he was asymptomatic, and have they removed sneezing as part of the...
Well, coughing is the main...
I think sneezing too is there.
Coughing, it's there.
Sneezing is there. That's why they say when you want to sneeze, you sneeze into your elbow.
So when the governor is saying he was asymptomatic, I don't directly think that was correct, because sneezing is part of the symptoms of COVID, and it just shows how our lives has changed. I'm sure formerly when somebody sneezes, they will say, bless you, but now everybody runs away from you. I sympathize with him, but we keep saying something. He must show leadership. And leadership is what you do when people are not there. You don't have to be in public glare before you show leadership. I'm sure he did not know people were recording this scene. It was caught off cam, he did this. Leadership should be everywhere. At no point were those people supposed to come close to you. They were supposed to go away from you and observe these guidelines. I pray it comes out of it. He's looking good. I want him to come back because the people of Ondo State need him. But I also want to ask a question. Since he's gone into isolation, how is the state going to run since he doesn't have a deputy governor any longer? Or he has a deputy governor that's decamped to another party, they are not in good terms?
How cheeky of you.
No, I'm just asking. No.
You can work from isolation.
No, I'm asking for the sake of the people, because you still need somebody on ground. Even if he said he's been working, he says he's been signing files from isolation and everything, but you still need somebody on ground to direct it. And normally, when governors go into isolation like that, they say, okay, somebody will take over. So who is going to be the one marshalling things? And it's just a question I ask on behalf of the Timmy people of Ondo State.
Well, in Kaduna State, you'll recall that Governor Nasir El-Rufai, he actually handed over to his deputy. And then somewhere down the line, as soon as he recovered, he came out.
Yes.
And I think the point you have raised is important, because there is a third video that is also in circulation shortly after the broadcast, showing the governor of Ondo State sitting down and holding a meeting with some people. And the query was raised on social media that, look, if you are on isolation, you can still be holding a meeting. Even if you are using a face mask.
Had he announced then that he was...
Yes, he had announced he was wearing the same attire. That was the allegation. So if he's going to go into isolation, he should go straight into isolation. And perhaps as you have indicated, hand over to Agbola Ajayi, his deputy. But we'll see, you know, how that will work out.
I think you're being facetious, Rufai. That's not concerned. That is shady.
But by the way, Rufai, sneezing is not necessarily a symptom of COVID-19. It's when you have the cold or you have flu, you know, that can then be an indication, or you cough, you know.
No, that's why I asked that, is sneezing part of...
Yeah, but if you sneeze, you know, in the season of COVID-19, you are told not to sneeze in people's faces.
Okay.
You know, or into your palms.
Thank you so much for that clarification.
Okay. Sneeze in a tissue and the quicker your elbow.
Very well said, guys.
Anyway,
shall we take another story? Yes. In a video that has gone viral, the Minister of State, Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, accused some politicians of trying to blackmail him over the recruitment into the Special Public Works Program, which is to provide jobs for 774,000 Nigerians. On Tuesday, in what was expected to be an interactive session between the minister and the Joint Committee of the National Assembly on Labor, ended on a dramatic note as the minister engaged the lawmakers in a shouting match after they asked for a closed-door executive session with him. Let's take a look.
It's not a place to grandstand. It is not a place to grandstand. We are doing serious business here.
How can you expose corruption without telling us? I must respond. I won't respond to what you said.
Honorable Minister, you are not exceptional. We had many ministers who came here, so please, you can call it here alone to protest. Are you better than other ministers? Are you not sitting here to try to get a minister? We will take it on with the presidency. Are you better than all the ministers?
But I should bring the program and that's on the platform direct me.
Playing to the gallery does not work here. Playing to the gallery does not work here. If it works where you're coming from, it doesn't work here.
Am I distracted? You cannot say something and disallow me the opportunity to respond. It's wrong. It's wrong. You make a submission now and you don't give me respect to respond. All my life as a lawyer, I'm not prohibited. You cannot prohibit me.
You are not a good lawyer. Get out. Go. Where is President Atam? Come and walk this man out of this place.
Well, I mean, this video has gone viral, as you all know. But I don't think the shouting match was necessary in any way whatsoever.
Went on for 30 minutes.
Yes, I mean, I thought it was just not necessary at all. You know, the lawmakers also have accused him of hijacking the recruitment process, which, you know, I guess that's... People are even calling it propaganda at this point by Festus Keyamo. I don't know what you think.
Well, we discussed this earlier. Okay. What do I think? I just think that the National Assembly has the right to ask these probing questions.
I think so, too.
The dispute happened when they wanted to go into a private session, and the Honourable Minister felt that he had been embarrassed publicly, so he should defend himself publicly. But I don't think that he was embarrassed. I think they had the right to probe him and ask these questions. Yes. I don't see why... I don't understand why he didn't just go into the closed session. I don't know why he was offended by that suggestion.
Well, basically, I mean, I commented on this earlier. But see, the issue is about who is in charge of what, who controls what. The committee, the joint committee, said, look, where is the role of the National Directorate of Employment in this? And Keyamo allegedly responded that the Director General of the NDE, as it is otherwise known, is already a member of the 20-person committee that he had set up, right? And that he personally, as Minister of State, had been directed by the President to take charge. Now, but the way the conversation panned out, it looked like, according to Keyamo, the members of the committee or members of the National Assembly were angling for 15% of the recruitment allocation.
10% that they had talked about, right?
Well, he claims they wanted 15%. And they say that, look, that Keyamo himself was grandstanding. That what he himself wanted was to have 1,000 recruits in 774 local governments to build up something. So the two of them, two sides, you know, not coming together. But I think at the end of the day, Keyamo may have to give unto Caesar
we will go
what
on
belongs
the break
to
so
Caesar.
We can ask Rufai.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Still with us is Ojy Okpe with what's trending around the world. Well, before we went on break, I was commenting further on the face-off between the Minister of State for Employment and Productivity and the Joint Committee of the National Assembly. And I was making the point that, look, this is about who gets what. And there are accusations on both sides. The lawmakers saying that Keyamo wants to get 1,000 slots in 774 local governments in order to, build a political machinery. And Keyamo saying the lawmakers are asking for their own share. They're asking for 15%. And I ended by saying, look, perhaps it may be a good idea to give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. But Keyamo is right to say that let's do it in the open. Okay? Now, if the lawmakers that are there, it's a natural response. They are representing people. They are from local councils. They may also be interested in making sure that their own constituents are part of that process. But beyond all of that, what I think is important is that this is about this job thing, creation of jobs thing, has been an APC conversation. And we do not want a situation whereby it's all about APC people cornering these jobs, and that's another angle to it, for only people who are loyal to the APC. Because we have seen some of the committees that have been set up in some states, dominated only by APC members. The project, as initiated by the Buhari government, is for all Nigerians, whatever political party they may belong to. And I think that that's the challenge for Keyamo as the minister that is in charge, to make sure that it's for all Nigerians, not party sycophants.
No, that's what he's been saying. I just want to say very quickly, I don't see anything wrong with a lawmaker asking the Minister of State on behalf of their constituents, because your job as a lawmaker is to represent your constituents, get them employment, get them the dividends of democracy, as we like to call it.
That is my point as well. Rufai, please, I'd like your comment.
If this government was to show independence and fairness, what I would suggest they do is this. We have a register for people that need jobs that might be indigent. Have what I call a national job lottery. Put it on NTA, put it on television, where each local governments are called, and you roll up an algorithm as a lottery, and people's names are picked from the register, and we put it out there. At least it will show some level of fairness. Like Dr. Abati said, we should stop making these things one-sided. This country is for all of us. And it hurts me the most that the people that are suffering are not being considered in all of this. It's just still cronies of politicians. Please, a lot of people are crying. Let's give it to people that are truly deserving. If we don't know them, if it's going to be skewed politically, let's have a national job lottery. Let people win jobs. At least that's going to make television ratings. I'm sure it's going to be the most worst show on television in this country, where people can get jobs on TV that you are watching or you are listening on the radio, and your name is called and you say you have a job in your local government.
Rufai, you are assuming that lotteries cannot be manipulated.
No, I'm not saying that lotteries cannot be manipulated, but at least it's going to be seen with a level of transparency.
Okay.
Very good. I like that point, level of transparency. I think now that his conversation is about putting everything in the open, let's hope that this will really be in the open. Still in Nigeria, a video by a concerned citizen challenging the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, over a flooding that submerged almost a dozen vehicles in the state's city of Ife has gone viral. Let's take a look at this video.
Of Old Ife Road in Ibadan, and these are people here all viewing to see the annoying experience here. The flood has covered vehicles. The flood has made a wreck of the entire city. These are cars, and you can see by proxy down there. So I'm having this for the straight record. This is not good. This is not nice. You can see the experience. It's not good. I think Governor Seyi Makinde should be able to swing into action. This is Old Ife Road. This is the way leading to Baggy. I'm on my way back to Lagos, but I feel they should be able to have this. So, Your Excellency, sir, I'm sending this to you. Thank you for intervening.
Well, I always say the power of social media. This is completely excellent by this citizen. I mean, the challenge is on Governor Seyi Makinde. This is ridiculous.
And not just him, it's all over Nigeria. This issue of flooding, yet another casualty in Abuja. Some man tried to drive through the flood and drowned. So really, we have to remind people, don't try and be a hero. Just turn back and go home like you had to do recently. With flooding, we have to look at climate change. That's a huge issue, rising sea levels. The indiscriminate dumping of refuse is a problem. Town planning and failure to adhere to town planning, which we discussed the other day with regards to the burial sites of the former governor. So many factors, but this kind of wanton, like just the loss of property, the loss of life, year in, year out, it's so disheartening.
Unacceptable.
Well, since he assumed office, the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has been talking about addressing the issue of flood, particularly in Ibadan. He has something he calls the Ibadan Urban Flood Management Project. And he started talking about it as far back as July last year. But as it is, apparently it's not something that he has been able to address. And I suspect that perhaps because, you know, in many parts of Ibadan, either around Ogunpa, where you have the notorious Omiyale perennial flooding crisis, or when the dam, the Ashejire Dam is, opened up, and then you have the problem. So it's an inherited problem.
Yes.
But the thing, of course, is that in many of these places, people build on drainage channels. And when you are a politician, it becomes very difficult for you to just take the caterpillar and start demolishing people's houses, particularly if you're a first-time governor. The tendency is to say, well, I didn't create this problem, I inherited it. If I go and demolish people's houses, then, of course, they may turn against me. But political leaders should have the courage to do the right thing, to take decision, because when you calculate the cost, the pain, the loss as a result of this yearly crisis of flooding and the distress that people go through is a lot. And people should not place their own political ambition ahead of, public safety.
A very quick comment from you, Rufai, so before we take our next story.
I mean, Dr. Batu, great one there. I remember that incident, Omiyale Agbaraya show, I think it was in the 80s, with the Ogunpa River. But I just also want to ask a question. Sir, you might know more about this. How has the ecological funds been used in this country?
Well, the governors in most cases collect the ecological funds and they divert it because there's no system.
Can I also ask you, is the ecological fund not to be used for things like floods?
Yes, I mean, not just floods, the environment, ensuring that you don't have gully erosion as we have the challenge in the eastern part of the country, where gully erosion is a major challenge. And one governor after the other has not been able to do anything about it. And yet they collect their share of the ecological fund.
So they collect the share of ecological fund and nothing is being done about it. They don't use it for anything. I rest my case.
Ojy,
that's my comment.
All right, no problem.
That's my comment. I rest my case.
Well, the challenge is on, and, this really has to be taken care of. Let's head over to Ghana now, where actress Rosamond Alade Brown, better known as Aqua Pempolo, stirred up a controversy when she shared a nude photo of herself on social media to celebrate her son's birthday. In the now viral photo, the movie star could be seen squatting completely unclad before her 7-year-old son, who was gazing steadily at her. The actress expressed her love for the birthday celebrant, recounting how she gave birth to him without undergoing pain or complication. The photo, which has now been deleted, has generated a nationwide outrage on the issue of child abuse. The actress, in her defense, went on to post pictures of celebrities Ciara and Jessica Moore, who have also posed nude with their sons. I mean, do you have the photos of the? Okay, sure.
Okay, I understand we're going on a break now. Unfortunately, it will have been nice to comment on that. You're still watching The Morning Show here on Arise News.